Military spouses always try to scam the system. The words cut through Veterans Community Bank like a blade. Branch manager James Morrison rips the check clean in half. $2.5 million in death benefits flutter to the marble floor like broken promises. Sarah Johnson stands perfectly still. Her black dress speaks of recent grief. Her military family pin catches the morning light. "Sir, that was my husband's life insurance," she says quietly. "He died for this country." Morrison's face twists with disgust. That's what they all say. Next, the security camera captures everything. Guard Robert Davis shifts nervously, his hand moving toward his phone. Sarah's lips curve into the faintest smile. "My son will be interested to hear about this. If you're watching this, please subscribe and let me know where you are watching from. What happens next will restore your faith in justice." Veterans Community Bank sits in the heart of a military town. Memorial Day weekend approaches. Gold Star banners hang from every lamppost outside. It's 9:15 on a Tuesday morning. Sarah Johnson pushes through the heavy glass doors. 3 children wait in her aging Honda Civic, their faces pressed against windows, watching mommy handle grown-up business. Behind the mahogany desk sits James Morrison, 55 years old, 20-year Army veteran, retired colonel who carries his bitterness like a loaded weapon. The bank walls display military photos, heroes in uniform, smiling families. Morrison's jaw tightens every time his eyes catch them. Sarah approaches his desk with careful steps, her paperwork organized in a manila folder, death certificate on top, official government letterhead beneath. "Good morning," she says. "I need to deposit this insurance benefit." Morrison barely glances up. His computer screen holds more interest than this woman in her simple black dress. Sarah places the check on his desk. $2.5 million. "Sergeant David Johnson, killed in action. Insurance payout for ultimate sacrifice." Morrison's eyes narrow. He studies the check like a forgery expert. "Where did you get this?" "My husband died in an IED explosion 6 months ago. This is his life insurance benefit." Morrison leans back in his leather chair. His office walls showcase his own military career, commendations, photos with generals, a career that ended badly 5 years ago. He remembers that day. Patriot Defense Corporation, the biggest defense contractor in 3 states. They'd called his drinking a performance issue, said his attitude was incompatible with corporate culture. The humiliation still burns. "Military benefits require manager approval for amounts over $1 million, Morrison announces. He's making this rule up on the spot. Sarah's eyebrows raise slightly. "Is there a problem with the paperwork?" "There's always a problem." Morrison's voice carries the weight of personal failure. "You people think military service entitles you to everything." Other customers begin turning their heads. An elderly man in a Vietnam veteran cap looks up from his deposit slip. A young woman with a baby stroller pauses near the loan officer's desk. Assistant manager Linda Wilson watches from across the lobby. She recognizes Sarah from base community events. Knows her story. 3 kids under 10. Husband deployed 4 times before his final mission. Linda shifts uncomfortably. She wants to intervene. Her own husband serves overseas. She knows how the system treats military families. Morrison continues his interrogation. "These numbers don't add up. Military life insurance doesn't pay this much." "Sir, my husband had supplemental coverage. Everything is documented here." Sarah slides additional papers across the desk. Morrison doesn't look at them. "Taxpayers shouldn't fund your lifestyle changes," he says loud enough for others to hear. "Military benefits aren't lottery winnings." A flush creeps up Sarah's neck. 6 months of grief management classes, 6 months of keeping it together for the kids. Her composure cracks slightly. "My children need stability. Their father died serving his country. Morrison's laugh holds no warmth. Every military spouse has the same sob story. Robert Davis, the security guard, steps closer to Morrison's desk. Iraq War veteran himself, 2 tours, Purple Heart recipient. He knows real service when he sees it. "Sir," Davis says carefully, "maybe we should—" "Stay back, Davis." Morrison's voice sharp as broken glass. "This doesn't concern you." But it does concern him. Davis served alongside Sergeant David Johnson in Kandahar province, watched him save 3 soldiers from an ambush, attended his memorial service 6 months ago. Sarah's hands tremble slightly, the first sign her iron control might be slipping. "I just want to provide for my children." Morrison stands up, his 6-foot frame designed to intimidate. Your kind always plays the victim card. Military families expect special treatment. The bank grows quiet. Even the tellers stop their counting. 10 customers spread across the lobby, all watching this confrontation unfold. Linda Wilson grips her pen tighter. She should speak up, should defend a fellow military spouse. But Morrison controls her performance reviews. Her husband's deployment allowance depends on this job. Sarah takes a slow breath. "My husband would have defended you too, sir." Morrison's face reddens. "Don't lecture me about military service. I gave 20 years to this country. And he gave his life." The silence that follows could shatter glass. Davis pulls out his phone. His thumb hovers over the record button. Morrison notices the movement. "Turn that off or you're fired!" But something shifts in the room. The elderly veteran stands up. The young mother with the stroller moves closer. Even the bank tellers lean forward from their bulletproof windows. Sarah checks her watch, a gift from her successful son, an expensive piece that doesn't match her simple outfit. "My son gets off work at 3 p.m., she says quietly. "He'll want to hear about this." Morrison doesn't catch the threat. He's too busy preparing his next attack. The morning sun streams through the bank windows. American flags flutter outside in the spring breeze. Inside, a battle is about to begin. Morrison steps around his desk. His body blocks Sarah's path to the exit. "You're not going anywhere until police verify this documentation." The threat hangs in the air like smoke from a discharged weapon. Sarah's 3 children watch through the glass doors, their mother trapped inside by a man drunk on petty authority. Davis moves forward. His security uniform carries weight in this moment. "Sir, she has the right to leave." Morrison whirls around. "One more word and you're unemployed, Davis. I don't care about your Purple Heart." The insult hits like a physical blow. Davis earned that medal pulling wounded soldiers from burning vehicles. Morrison knows this. Everyone in town knows this. Sarah's composure begins to crack. Not from fear, from exhaustion. 6 months of fighting bureaucracy, insurance companies, government offices. Now this. "My husband's funeral was only 6 months ago," she whispers. Morrison's smile turns cruel. Your kind always plays the victim card. 5 years ago, James Morrison commanded respect, base housing, military privileges, a corner office at Patriot Defense Corporation overseeing $1 million contracts. Then came the incident. 3 drinks at lunch became 4. 4 became 6. A heated argument with the company president about contract negotiations. Words were exchanged, accusations made. Attitude incompatible with corporate culture, they'd written in his termination letter. Effective immediately. The humiliation festered, turned into bitterness. Bitterness became hatred for everyone who still had what he'd lost. Military families especially, their benefits, their support systems, their community respect. Morrison leans closer to Sarah's face. Military spouses think you deserve special treatment. Welfare queens in uniform. Davis starts recording. His phone captures every word. "Turn that off!" Morrison's voice echoes through the marble lobby. No, sir. This needs to be documented. Linda Wilson finally finds her courage. Mr. Morrison, maybe we should reconsider this situation. Morrison's head snaps toward his assistant manager. You're either with the bank or against it, Wilson. Choose carefully. Linda's husband deploys next month. She needs this job. But watching Sarah suffer brings back memories of her own struggles with military bureaucracy. I think we should help her, Linda says quietly. Morrison's face purples with rage. 20 years of military service, 5 years of civilian humiliation. Now his own employees turn against him. Sarah stands perfectly straight. Her military family training kicks in. Stand tall, show no weakness. Protect the children watching from outside. I served with your husband in Kandahar province, Davis tells Sarah. Sergeant Johnson saved my unit from an ambush. He was a good man. Morrison's laugh sounds like breaking glass. Stolen valor stories. You people stick together with your made-up heroics. The accusation strikes Davis like lightning. Stolen valor. The worst insult a veteran can receive. Questioning someone's service record, their sacrifice, their honor. Sergeant David Johnson died January 15th, Davis says slowly. IED explosion on Highway 1. He saved 3 soldiers before the blast took him. Sarah's eyes fill with tears, not from Morrison's cruelty, from hearing her husband's story told with respect. Morrison doubles down. MPs investigate these claims all the time. Half of them are fake. The bank customers gasp. Even in a military town, questioning someone's service crosses every line. Sarah reaches into her purse, pulls out a folded flag. The same flag that covered her husband's coffin. 13 folds, each one representing honor, sacrifice, duty. This is what the Army gave me for his service. Morrison stares at the flag. Every veteran recognizes the significance, the weight of that triangle, the finality it represents. For just a moment, his mask slips. Behind the bitterness, something human flickers. Then the moment passes. Flags can be bought at any surplus store. Davis's live stream counter shows 50 viewers, then 100. Military families share the feed across social media. Comments flood in from around the country. This is going viral, Davis announces. Morrison spots the viewer count on Davis's phone. Panic replaces arrogance. Turn that off immediately. People need to see how you treat Gold Star families. Sarah checks her expensive watch again. 2:30 p.m., 2:30 p. Her son will finish work soon. The son Morrison doesn't know about yet. Your husband would be ashamed of this behavior, Sarah tells Morrison. Don't you dare. He'd be ashamed that you use your service to hurt other military families. Morrison's hand shakes with rage. I gave 20 years to this country. And my husband gave his life. The simple truth silences the room. 20 years versus everything. Service versus sacrifice. Life versus death. Morrison's breathing becomes labored. PTSD symptoms he refuses to acknowledge. The therapy sessions he skipped. The medication he won't take. Military families get too much, he whispers. Sarah steps closer. We get widows. We get orphans. We get folded flags and empty bedrooms. Her voice carries the weight of every military spouse who ever waited for a phone call that never came. Every parent who buried a child in uniform. Every family that paid the ultimate price. Morrison's composure crumbles completely. The system failed me too. Nobody cared when Patriot Defense threw me out. The admission hangs in the air. His real motivation finally exposed. Not protecting the bank. Revenge against everyone who still has what he lost. Sarah's expression softens slightly. Hurt people, Colonel Morrison. The use of his rank, his former rank, stops him cold. Recognition of his service despite his behavior. Davis's phone shows 300 viewers now. Comments streaming faster than he can read. Number sign veterans' families matter trending locally. Sarah pulls out her phone, types a quick text message. Her son needs to know about this situation. Morrison sees her typing. Who are you texting? Sarah looks up with that mysterious smile again. Someone who'll be very interested in your behavior. The smile holds secrets Morrison can't imagine. Power he doesn't understand. Connections he'll soon discover. Her phone buzzes with a reply. Sarah reads the message and nods. He'll be here soon. Morrison scoffs. Another military family member? Bring them all. I'm not impressed by sob stories. Davis continues live streaming. The viewer count climbs past 500. Military communities across 3 states watch this confrontation unfold in real time. Sarah checks her watch one final time. 2:45 p.m. 15 minutes until her son arrives. 15 minutes until James Morrison's world changes forever. The bank doors swing open with a soft chime. Betty Taylor enters carrying flowers for her weekly cemetery visit. 68 years old, Gold Star mother, lost her only son in Afghanistan 3 years ago. She stops cold when she sees the confrontation. Morrison still blocks Sarah's path. Davis films everything, the tension thick enough to cut with a combat knife. Betty's eyes lock onto the folded flag in Sarah's hands. She recognizes that triangle immediately, the weight of it, the finality it represents. What's happening here? Betty's voice carries the authority of someone who's buried her child. Morrison turns, irritated by another interruption. Bank business, ma'am. Please wait your turn. Betty walks straight to Sarah's side. I'm Betty Taylor. I lost my boy in Helmand Province. Sarah's eyes fill with recognition. I remember you from the memorial services. 2 Gold Star families, standing together. Morrison suddenly faces more than just one grieving widow. Davis's live stream explodes with comments. Is that Mrs. Taylor? She spoke at my son's funeral. Gold Star mothers stick together. This banker needs to learn some respect. The viewer count hits 700. Military families across the region share the stream. Local veteran organizations receive notifications. Morrison realizes his private confrontation has become a public spectacle. Sweat beads on his forehead despite the air conditioning. Ladies, please step aside. This is a banking matter. Betty Taylor laughs. Not with humor, with the bitter knowledge of someone who's fought bureaucracy while burying her child. Banking matter? You're humiliating a Gold Star family. More customers enter the lobby. Word spreads quickly in military towns. The coffee shop next door buzzes with whispers. Something's happening at the bank. A young veteran in civilian clothes pushes through the doors. Then an older woman wearing a Navy Mom t-shirt. Then a middle-aged man with a Marine Corps tattoo. The lobby fills with military families. Morrison's breathing quickens. His plan to handle one widow quietly has backfired spectacularly. He faces an entire community now. Everyone needs to calm down, he announces with forced authority. We are calm, Betty replies. You're the one screaming at widows. Davis's phone shows 1,000 viewers. Comments stream like machine gun fire. Someone call the news stations. This is why banks hate military families. Where is this happening? I'm driving over. Linda Wilson steps forward from behind the teller counter. Her husband's deployment orders burn in her purse. 3 months until he ships out. She knows Sarah's pain intimately. Mr. Morrison, Linda says carefully, maybe we should reconsider this situation. Morrison spins toward his assistant manager. Wilson, get back to work. No, sir, this isn't right. The word no hangs in the air like a declaration of war. Assistant managers don't tell branch managers no. Employees don't defy their bosses publicly. But Linda Wilson watches her future in Sarah's face. What happens when your husband doesn't come home? How the system treats you afterward. She has legitimate paperwork, Linda continues. Her husband died serving our country. Morrison's face reddens to purple. His own employees turn against him. His authority crumbles in real time. "You're either with the bank or with them," he shouts. Linda looks around the lobby, sees the faces of military families, remembers her husband's letter about coming home to a better world. "I'm with them." The crowd erupts in applause. Davis's live stream viewers spike to 1,500. Social media notifications explode across the military community. Betty Taylor steps closer to Morrison. At 5'2", she barely reaches his shoulder, but her presence fills the room. "I buried my only child," she says quietly. Folded flag, empty bedroom, unfinished dreams. Morrison shifts uncomfortably. The PTSD symptoms he refuses to acknowledge crawl up his spine. "Ma'am, I understand your loss, but do you? Did you bury your child?" Morrison's mouth opens, closes. No words come. "Then don't pretend to understand our sacrifice." Sarah watches Betty defend her. Stranger supporting stranger. Military families protecting their own. Davis's live stream reaches 2,000 viewers. Local news stations monitor the feed. Producers scramble camera crews. Morrison realizes his career hangs by a thread. But pride won't let him back down. "Military families expect special treatment," he declares to the crowd. The room goes silent. Even the tellers stop counting money. A Marine Corps father near the door speaks up. "Special treatment? Like what, exactly?" Morrison gestures wildly. "Benefits. Programs, preferential hiring, housing allowances." "You mean compensation for service?" "I mean handouts for people who choose military careers." The accusation strikes like lightning. Choose military careers. As if service members pick combat deployments like vacation destinations. Betty Taylor's eyes flash with controlled fury. "My son chose to serve. He didn't choose to die." Morrison realizes he's crossed every line, but backing down means admitting failure. His ego won't allow retreat. "Military service is voluntary," he says. "Nobody forced these choices." Sarah finally speaks. Her voice cuts through the tension like a surgeon's scalpel. "You're right, Colonel Morrison. Service is voluntary." She emphasizes his former rank, recognition of what he used to be before bitterness consumed him. But honor isn't optional. The statement lands like a precision strike. Morrison commanded troops once, led soldiers, swore oaths about duty and sacrifice. Davis's phone buzzes with notification after notification. The live stream breaks 3,000 viewers. Number sign Veterans Families Matter trends statewide. Comments flood in from military bases across the country. "Fort Bragg supports you." "Semper Fi" from Camp Pendleton. "Navy stands with Gold Star families." Morrison watches his humiliation broadcast to thousands of service members, his reputation destroyed in real time. What would you do if this was your mother, your sister, your wife? Let me know in the comments. Betty Taylor looks directly into Davis's camera. Service isn't measured by rank, but by respect. The quote resonates immediately. Comments explode with agreement. Screenshots capture the moment. Military families share the phrase across every social platform. Sarah checks her expensive watch one final time. 2:55 p.m. Her son finishes work any minute now. Morrison notices the watch. Rolex Submariner, $40,000 retail. Not standard issue for struggling widows. "Nice watch," he says suspiciously. "Military benefits pay for luxury items now?" Sarah's smile returns. That mysterious expression that's haunted Morrison all morning. "It was a gift from my son." Military families stick together with handouts. Something like that. Morrison misses the implications completely. He sees only what his prejudice allows. Poor military widow, expensive watch, obviously fraudulent. The bank doors chime again. Heavy footsteps cross the marble floor, confident stride, expensive shoes. Morrison doesn't turn around, still focused on Sarah's watch, still missing every warning sign. "My son should be here any moment," Sarah says softly. "Another military family sob story," Morrison mutters. Betty Taylor's eyes widen. She sees who just entered, recognizes the face from recent business news. Local defense contractor making headlines. Davis's camera captures everything. The moment of recognition. The shift in power about to explode across this marble battlefield. Sarah's son has arrived. Morrison's world is about to change forever. The footsteps stop directly behind Morrison. Italian leather soles on marble floor. $3,000 suit. Presence that commands attention without demanding it. "Mom, I got your text. Is there a problem here?" Morrison turns slowly, sees a young man in his late 20s, tailored navy suit, confidence that comes from success, not arrogance, eyes that mirror Sarah's quiet strength. Something familiar flickers in Morrison's recognition. The jawline, the bearing, the way he stands with military precision despite never wearing a uniform. "Wait." Morrison squints. "You look familiar." Michael Johnson steps forward, extends a business card with practiced ease. "Michael Johnson, Chief Executive Officer, Patriot Defense Corporation." The blood drains from Morrison's face completely. Patriot Defense Corporation. The company that terminated him 5 years ago. The humiliation that started his downward spiral into bitterness. The same company that just named a new CEO 3 months ago. Young executive, former military family, rising star in defense contracting. Morrison's hands shake as he reads the business card. Gold-embossed letters confirm his worst nightmare. Michael Johnson, CEO. The same last name as the widow he just humiliated. "No," Morrison whispers. "Yes," Michael replies calmly. Davis's live stream explodes. Comments flood faster than humanly possible to read. "Holy shit, is that the Patriot Defense CEO? Morrison just messed with the wrong family. This is about to get nuclear." The viewer count spikes past 5,000. Regional news stations interrupt programming. Military communities nationwide watch this confrontation unfold live. Morrison's legs feel like jelly. The man he just called a welfare queen is Sarah Johnson, the mother of the most powerful defense contractor CEO in 3 states. "You were terminated for conduct unbecoming 5 years ago," Michael says quietly. "Now I see why." Morrison's throat constricts. His termination file, drinking on duty, inappropriate conduct, hostile work environment complaints. Michael Johnson would have access to all those records now, every embarrassing detail of Morrison's professional collapse. I was just protecting the bank," Morrison stammers, "by tearing up my mother's legitimate insurance check." Betty Taylor grins from ear to ear, the greatest plot twist she's witnessed since her soap opera days. David versus Goliath, but David brought an army. Michael pulls out his cell phone, dials a number everyone in the room recognizes from their banking statements. "This is Michael Johnson. I need to speak with President Williams immediately." Morrison's knees buckle. Bank President Harold Williams, Morrison's boss, the man who hired him after his military disgrace. "Harold, this is Michael Johnson from Patriot Defense." "Yes, that's correct. I'm standing in your Veterans Community branch right now." The lobby falls silent except for Davis's live stream notifications. Even the air conditioning seems to hold its breath. "Your branch manager just tore up my mother's death benefit check. Called military families welfare queens. Yes, she's a Gold Star widow." Morrison mouths the word no, but no sound emerges, his career dissolving in real time over speakerphone. "I need him terminated immediately. Yes, Effective this moment. President Williams's voice carries through the speaker. Mr. Johnson, I am personally horrified. Consider it done. Security will escort him out within 5 minutes. Michael ends the call, looks directly at Morrison. True veterans lift each other up. The punchline hits like artillery fire. Morrison commanded soldiers once, swore oaths about supporting fellow service members. Now he faces the consequences of forgetting those promises. Sarah steps forward, places her hand on her son's arm. Your father would be proud of how you handled this. The mention of Sergeant David Johnson shifts the entire emotional landscape. Not just corporate power play, family honor, military legacy, generational service. Michael's voice softens when he speaks about his father. He taught me to protect people who can't protect themselves. Morrison realizes the depth of his miscalculation. He didn't just attack a random widow. He assaulted the family of a man who died serving their country. Then compounded the insult by threatening the dead soldier's son. Bank security guards appear at the lobby entrance. Not Davis, who continues live streaming. Corporate security, men in suits with earpieces. James Morrison? The lead guard checks his tablet. You're terminated for cause. We need your badge and keys. Morrison's hands tremble as he removes his bank identification. 20-year military career, 5-year civilian position, both ending in disgrace. Please, Morrison begs Michael. I have PTSD. I wasn't thinking clearly. Michael's expression remains neutral. PTSD doesn't excuse dishonoring military families. The statement resonates across Davis's live stream. 7,000 viewers witness Morrison's complete humiliation. His attempts at justification crumble under the weight of his own actions. Linda Wilson approaches Michael tentatively. Mr. Johnson? I tried to help your mother. Michael shakes her hand warmly. I noticed. Thank you for showing courage. He pulls out another business card, hands it to Linda. Call my office tomorrow. We're looking for someone to manage our new Veterans Relations program. Linda's eyes widen. Assistant manager to corporate executive in 30 minutes. Courage rewarded immediately and publicly. Betty Taylor wipes tears from her eyes. Justice served hot and fast. The way it should be, but rarely is. Davis's live stream hits 10,000 viewers. Military families across America witness this moment of accountability. Proof that actions have consequences, that power can be used to protect instead of hurt. Morrison shuffles toward the exit between security guards. His banking career over, his reputation destroyed, his bitterness finally consuming him completely. Colonel Morrison? Sarah calls out softly. Morrison turns back one final time. Hopes for mercy from the woman he tormented. Get help, she says simply, before the anger kills what's left of the man you used to be. The advice hits harder than any insult. Recognition of his humanity despite his behavior. Military families taking care of broken soldiers, even cruel ones. Morrison nods once, unable to speak, unable to process the magnitude of his defeat. The security guards escort him through the bank doors, past the American flags, past the military memorials, past the community that will remember this day forever. Michael hands Sarah a new checkbook. Patriot Defense Corporation maintains private banking accounts here. You'll never face this treatment again. Sarah accepts the checkbook with dignity intact, the same composure she maintained throughout Morrison's assault. Davis ends his live stream after 13,000 viewers witness complete justice. The final frame shows Sarah and Michael embracing in the bank lobby. Military families supporting each other the way it should be. Betty Taylor starts clapping, slow at first, then faster. The entire lobby joins in thunderous applause. Linda Wilson wipes tears from her eyes. Her husband deploys next month. She knows he'll serve with pride, knowing families like Sarah's survive and thrive. Michael addresses the crowd. Military families sacrifice everything for our freedom. The least we can do is treat them with respect. The statement becomes an instant quote, shared across military communities nationwide, printed on bumper stickers within hours. Sarah checks her watch one final time. 3:05 p.m. Her son arrived exactly when promised. Military precision runs in the family. "Right on time," she tells Michael. "Always, Mom." "Dad taught me that too." Outside, Morrison sits in his car, watching through the windows as the Johnson family receives the respect he denied them. The community celebrates justice served swiftly and completely. His phone buzzes with notifications, social media alerts, his humiliation already viral across the internet, his name synonymous with military family disrespect. Morrison starts his engine. Drives away from Veterans Community Bank for the last time. His legacy now defined by one moment of cruelty toward a Gold Star widow. Inside the bank, normal business resumes. But something has changed forever. Military families know they have protectors. Bullies know there are consequences. True veterans lift each other up. The punchline echoes long after the applause fades. The lobby erupts in sustained applause. Military families, bank customers, even the tellers behind bulletproof glass join the ovation. Sarah Johnson stands at the center, dignity intact, justice served. Bank President Harold Williams bursts through the main entrance within 10 minutes. Silver-haired executive in an expensive suit, flanked by corporate attorneys and public relations specialists. "Mrs. Johnson," Williams approaches with hands extended. "I cannot begin to express my horror at what happened here today." Sarah accepts his handshake with quiet grace. "Your employee made his feelings about military families very clear." Williams turns to address the assembled crowd. Customers still hold their phones, recording every word. Local news crews arrive outside, setting up equipment on the sidewalk. "Veterans Community Bank was founded to serve military families," Williams announces. "What happened here today violates every principle we stand for." Michael steps forward, still protective of his mother. "Mr. Williams, we need systematic changes, not just apologies." "Absolutely agreed. What do you recommend?" The question hangs in the air. Real power asking for real solutions. Not corporate damage control, but genuine reform. "Start with training," Michael suggests. "Every employee needs education about military family experiences." Sarah adds quietly, "And accountability. This can't happen to other families." Williams nods vigorously. "Consider it done. We're implementing a Veterans Family Protection Protocol immediately." Davis continues recording on his personal phone. His live stream ended, but documentation continues. Evidence for the changes about to unfold. Betty Taylor approaches President Williams. "That young woman, Linda Wilson, showed courage today. She deserves recognition." Williams scans the lobby until he spots Linda behind the teller counter, still processing the morning's events, still amazed at her own bravery. "Ms. Wilson," Williams calls out, "please join us." Linda walks over on unsteady legs. Her career transformed in 30 minutes from assistant manager to potential executive. "Your courage today exemplifies our values," Williams tells her. "I'm promoting you to branch manager, effective immediately." The crowd applauds again. Justice flowing in multiple directions. Good people rewarded, bad behavior punished. The system working correctly for once. Michael pulls out his business card holder, selects another card for Linda. "You still have that position with Patriot Defense if you're interested." Veterans Relations Manager. "Starting salary $90,000 plus benefits." Linda's eyes widen. Double her current income. A chance to help military families professionally. Her husband's deployment suddenly feels more meaningful. Davis approaches the group cautiously, still wearing his security uniform, still amazed at the morning's events. "Mr. Johnson," he says respectfully, "I served with your father. He saved my life in Kandahar." Michael's expression softens completely. Tell me about him. Best non-com I ever knew. Never left anyone behind. Took care of his soldiers like family. Sarah's eyes fill with tears. Not grief this time. Pride. Her husband's legacy living on in the soldiers he protected. Sergeant Johnson talked about his son constantly, Davis continues. Said you were going to change the world. Michael grips Davis's hand firmly. He always believed in impossible dreams. Nothing impossible about honoring military families, Davis replies. President Williams interrupts the moment. Mr. Davis, how would you feel about a promotion? We need a Veterans Relations Coordinator position. Davis looks stunned. Security guard to bank management in one morning, military service finally rewarded properly. I'd be honored, sir. Sarah reaches into her purse, pulls out a folded letter, yellowed with age, creased from multiple readings. This is the last letter my husband wrote, she says softly. He talked about taking care of military families after he was gone. She unfolds the letter carefully, her husband's handwriting visible to the crowd gathered around her. He wrote, If anything happens to me, Sarah, make sure no military family ever feels alone. We take care of our own, always. The letter's words resonate through the marble lobby, a dead soldier's final mission carried out by his widow and son. Michael wipes his eyes discreetly. Dad always said service continues after discharge. Williams seizes the moment. Mrs. Johnson, would you consider joining our board of directors? We need your perspective on military family services. Sarah considers the offer carefully. Only if real changes happen, not just corporate gestures. What changes do you want to see? Sarah looks around the lobby, sees the faces of military families who witnessed Morrison's cruelty, knows thousands more face similar treatment daily. 24-hour Veterans Support Hotline, she begins, staffed by people who understand our experiences. Williams nods, taking notes on his phone. Mandatory bias training for all employees, Sarah continues, using today's incident as a case study. Absolutely agreed. And partnership with veteran organizations. Real relationships, not photo opportunities. Williams extends his hand again. You drive a hard bargain, Mrs. Johnson. But these changes are overdue. Outside, local news crews interview customers leaving the bank. Word spreads through the military community faster than wildfire. Channel 7 News. This is breaking coverage from Veterans Community Bank, where a branch manager was terminated for tearing up a Gold Star widow's insurance check. Davis's original live stream generates thousands of shares across social media platforms. # Veterans Families Matter becomes a national trending topic. Military family support groups share the video with commentary. This is why we stick together. Justice served. Finally, consequences for disrespecting our sacrifices. Betty Taylor approaches Sarah one final time. Your husband would be proud of how you handled this. He taught me to fight for what's right, Sarah replies. Even when fighting hurts. Especially then, Betty agrees. The two Gold Star families embrace, strangers bonded by shared loss and mutual support. Michael addresses the crowd one final time. Military families sacrifice everything for our freedom. The least we can do is treat them with respect. The quote spreads immediately across social media. Military families adopt it as their rallying cry. Defense contractors print it on corporate literature. President Williams approaches the nearest news camera. Veterans Community Bank is implementing immediate reforms to ensure this never happens again. The reporter pushes for details. What specific changes are you making? Complete overhaul of our military family services, new training programs, direct hotlines, and partnership with organizations that understand veteran needs. Davis stands proudly in his security uniform, knowing he'll trade it for management attire tomorrow. His courage rewarded, his service finally recognized. Linda Wilson calls her deployed husband from the bank phone. Honey, you're not going to believe what happened today. Her voice carries across the lobby. Joy mixed with disbelief. Military spouses supporting each other through impossible circumstances. Sarah folds her husband's letter carefully, returns it to her purse next to the new checkbook Michael provided. Old promises and new possibilities sharing the same space. Ready to go home, Mom? Michael asks. Almost. Sarah approaches the memorial wall near the bank entrance. Photos of fallen local service members line the marble surface. She finds her husband's picture. Sergeant David Johnson in dress uniform. Young face, confident smile. Dreams that ended too soon. Mission accomplished, she whispers to the photograph. Michael places his arm around his mother's shoulders. He's watching, isn't he? Always, Sarah replies. Military families never truly say goodbye. They walk toward the exit together. Mother and son, widow and CEO, military family surviving and thriving despite loss. Outside, the American flag flies at full staff in the spring breeze. Memorial Day weekend approaches, a time for honoring service and sacrifice. Inside Veterans Community Bank, everything has changed. Military families will never face Morrison's cruelty again. Good employees have been promoted. Bad behavior has been punished. The system worked correctly for once. Justice served at exactly 3 p.m. Right on time. 6 months later, Veterans Community Bank looks transformed. Gone are the sterile corporate posters. Military family photos line the walls. Gold star banners hang prominently near the entrance. A bronze plaque beside the front door reads, Sergeant David Johnson Memorial Veterans Center, dedicated to military families who serve at home. Robert Davis unlocks the bank doors every morning now, no longer a security guard. Veterans Relations Manager. His Purple Heart pin gleams on his new business suit. The first customer through the doors is Betty Taylor. Weekly cemetery visits still happen, but now she stops at the bank afterward. Volunteer coordinator for their new veterans program. Morning, Robert, she says warmly. Ready for another day? Always, Mrs. Taylor. Military families are counting on us. The Veterans Unemployment Program Davis launched has placed 47 former service members in civilian jobs. Defense contractors, government positions, private companies that finally understand military skills translate perfectly to corporate success. Linda Wilson arrives at 7:30 sharp. Branch manager responsibilities require early hours. Her husband returned from deployment last month, their first reunion without financial stress in 15 years. Sarah Johnson is coming in today, Linda tells Davis. Board meeting at 10. Sarah serves on the bank's board of directors now. Military family advocate, policy advisor, voice for thousands of veterans navigating civilian systems. Her recommendations transformed more than just this bank. Other financial institutions adopt the Veterans Family Protection Protocol. Federal banking regulators mandate similar training nationwide. The 24-hour Veterans Support Hotline receives over 100 calls daily. Staffed by former military spouses who understand deployment stress, family separation, and bureaucratic battles. At 9:55, Sarah enters through doors that once trapped her in humiliation. Now they open to respect and recognition. Michael accompanies her today. Patriot Defense Corporation grew 30% under his leadership. Military family values translate into corporate success. Employees who understand service deliver exceptional results. How are the kids? Linda asks Sarah warmly. Thriving. College funds are secure. Counseling helped them process their father's death. They're proud of how we handled Morrison's attack. Morrison himself fades into obscurity, terminated from banking forever. His LinkedIn profile remains empty. No company will hire someone whose military family hatred went viral, but Sarah insisted on one mercy. Patriot Defense Corporation's Veterans Counseling Program accepted Morrison for PTSD treatment. Free therapy, free medication, free path to redemption if he chooses it. Hurt people, Sarah explained to those who questioned her generosity. But healing people heal people. The board meeting agenda includes expansion plans. 2 more Veterans Community Bank branches opening in military towns. Davis will oversee both locations. Military families deserve respect everywhere, not just here. At noon, a familiar face appears in the lobby. Young Marine Corporal, nervous about his first civilian bank account. Davis recognizes the signs immediately. "First time dealing with civilian banks?" Davis asks gently. "Yes, sir. Heard this was the place for military families." "You heard correctly. We take care of our own here." The phrase echoes through every interaction now. Military families taking care of military families. Service members supporting service members. Communities protecting their protectors. Sarah watches from the conference room window, sees Davis guiding the young Marine through account setup, sees Linda reviewing deployment financial planning with a Navy wife, sees Betty Taylor organizing care packages for overseas families. Her husband's final letter fulfilled completely. No military family feels alone here anymore. "Mom," Michael says softly, "Dad would be proud of what we built." "He'd be proud of what you became," Sarah replies. "CEO of integrity, leader who lifts people up." Michael checks his watch. Military precision inherited from his father. "Ready to change more banks?" "Always. This is just the beginning." They gather their papers. Walk toward the memorial wall one final time. Sergeant David Johnson's photo smiles down at the transformed space around him. "When we honor those who served, we honor the best of America," Sarah whispers to her husband's picture. The phrase becomes their permanent slogan, printed on every business card, displayed on every wall, shared across every platform. Share this story to honor our military families. Subscribe for more stories of justice served. And remember, true patriots lift each other up, because every ending is someone else's beginning, and every military family deserves respect. Always.